embodied in one person the skills and temperament that are usually parceled out among 3 or more people. But with this person, they were combined into one. He was an astute investor. He knew how the markets worked, so he was able to buy when prices were low, and was able to sell when prices were high. He invested in bonds and stocks and real estate and businesses. And he just seemed to have that uncanny knack to know how to make his money go far. Secondly, he knew how to make deals. He could spot businesses that had potential and offer capital to those businesses for an interest in the business, a share in it. He looked for businesses that were on the cutting edge of commerce. He looked for businesses that were innovative and doing things aimed at the future, not the present, and certainly not the past. He was an honest partner with these businesses in which he made deals. He was honest, ethical. His word was his bond, and he was widely trusted. Third, he was a philanthropist. He knew that it was important to give back. He'd been fortunate enough to make a great deal of money, and he felt an obligation, a spiritual obligation, to share that wealth with others. He set up foundations. He donated to hospitals and libraries and colleges. He served on the board of directors of a number of charities, and he didn't just lend his name or just his money, but he got involved with those, using his business acumen to help these charities pursue and accomplish their missions. It was remarkable, really, that one person had been blessed with these skills. He had 3 children, and they had 3 sons, and they had been competitors almost since they were born. Sibling rivalry ruled the family. They competed for grades and athletics, all kinds of activities. They mostly competed for the parents' attention. As the businessman got older, and he had amassed such an empire of businesses and wealth, he started thinking about what was going to happen when he got too old to manage his businesses, or if he should die. He was very concerned because while his sons had come into the family businesses, they continued to be competitive. They kind of spread out among themselves the skills that the businessmen had. One was an investor, another was a deal maker, and the third was a philanthropist. And they each worked in their own sphere of influence within the family businesses, but they rarely worked together on anything, and they did not know how to cooperate with each other. And so the businessman knew it would be a disaster if he should let his 3 sons equally manage the business. So since they were such competitors, he decided to have a competition among his sons to see which one would take over. The others would stay in business, of course, but there would be one who would be the CEO. He built 3 barns on a piece of property right next to each other. The barns were identical in every respect. They were large barns. And he called his 3 sons to meet him at those barns. He started out by giving them 3 gold coins quarters. They were represented much more value than a small. They were worthwhile. 3 coins worthwhile. And he told them he wanted them to use the 3 coins, no more, no less, to fill the barn. Each of them would be assigned a barn. To fill their barn with whatever material they wanted, as long as it was a good business venture. So the competition would be measured in terms of filling the barns to the brim with some kind of material, and doing so in a manner that accomplished clear business objectives. And he told them they had a month to meet this challenge, and they would meet back at the barns a month hence. The first son, the one who was the investor, did research in agriculture and found that the price of corn was unusually low because it had been a good year and there was a surplus. But he also did some research into the future and found that the weather the next year would not be so good. And there was likely to be a reduced crop, which means there'd be a shortage of corn. And the price would go up. A good business proposition. So he used the gold coins to buy up as much corn as he could. And he put it in the barn. And he managed to get just enough corn to fill the barn to the brim completely. The second son, the one who was good at making deals, was aware that there were a lot of poultry processing plants in the area. And he saw an opportunity to bring them under one management so that they could share sources of material and so forth and increase their profitability. So he went to several of the poultry processors and said, "What's your biggest problem? What is it that we could solve? You'd be more successful and more profitable." And they all said the same thing. Find a way to dispose of these feathers. Because the feathers were plucked from the poultry. And they had to be disposed of. So the second son, the deal maker, said, "I'll make you a deal. I'll haul away the feathers for you if you give me a share of stock in your business every month, so that I can enter into your business as a partner with you, as well as provide you with the service of disposing of the feathers." Well, this was a good deal. Too good to pass up. So all the poultry processing plants in the area agreed to the deal. And the son used the gold coins to buy a fleet of trucks. And he started hauling feathers from the poultry processing plants to his barn, until the barn was filled with feathers. The third son, the philanthropist, didn't do anything until the day before the scheduled meeting with their father. On that day, he went to the town square and he saw sitting on a park bench a discharged soldier who was disabled. And he still wore some elements of his uniform. He looked as though he were in a sad state. And so the son sat down on the park bench with him and had a conversation, learned a bit of his history, and learned that he had a plan for the future. And so the son gave the soldier one of the gold coins and said, "Use this to build your future." He then went to the prison. And there was a prisoner being released that day, and the son had a conversation with the prisoner, and the same thing happened. He learned something about the prisoner and gave him the gold coin, told him to fashion his future with it. He then went to the general store and bought a candle and a flint and steel. the change from that third gold coin, he went to the homeless shelter in town and distributed that change to all the people there. The three sons and the father gathered at the barns the next day. The first son explained what he had done, opened the door to the barn, expecting it to be filled with corn, but it was not, because mice had discovered the corn and had eaten all, of course, but they'd eaten enough so that the level of corn in the barn had been reduced. The second son, the deal maker, explained what he had done. Opened the door to the barn, and again, there were a lot of feathers in that barn, but not enough to reach to the top because the weight of the feathers themselves had compressed the volume, and they now took up less space. The third son, the philanthropist, explained what he had done, and then opened the door to the barn and walked in. In the middle of the bare floor, he placed the candle, struck the flint to the steel, and lighted the candle. And the light of that candle filled the barn completely. Light. Light is powerful. We are beginning the season of light. The season of Epiphany. Today is the Epiphany. And it continues for several weeks. Epiphany means showing forth, revealing. And in Epiphany we hear gospel readings about how different people encountered Jesus and came to recognize him and accept him as God's Messiah. We start out that story of the spreading forth of the knowledge and love of Jesus with the wise men. Today's gospel reading. Who are they? Well, we don't really know. There's no historical record that matches up with the story that's in Matthew's gospel. Some scholars think they were astrologers from Persia, that's Iran today. And they were astrologers because they studied the heavens, charting the courses of planets and stars, and the relationships among the various celestial bodies. And they believed that the heavens gave hints to people about special events. You know, you're familiar with astrology. Maybe you check your horoscope every day to find out what your day is going to be like, especially if you read a horoscope on your birthday, to find out what attributes you're supposed to have if you're born on a certain day. That's what astrologers do today. It was something similar to what astrologers did back then. And they had seen something strange in the heavens, a star. Now, it may have been a comet, it may have been some kind of supernova. We don't know. But they saw something. And it was remarkable. It was a large star. They'd never seen it before, so they thought it might mean something. It might mean a special birth, maybe a king, maybe some other kind of leader, maybe a spiritual leader. And so the wise men decided to follow the star because it moved. When they started heading toward it, it moved a little bit beyond them. So it was always leading them on. The direction seemed to be to Israel, to Jerusalem, capital of Israel, the seat of Herod the king. Herod was a puppet, really, of the Roman Emperor Augustus. Augustus was really in charge. But the policy of the Roman Empire was to allow local rulers who'd been conquered by Rome to have exercised some authority, even have military forces, as long as they understood that Augustus was really in charge. And so Herod was the king, Herod the Great. He was brutal. Historical records tell us very clearly that he was very insecure in his position, constantly afraid that there would be a rebellion or a revolution or someone would seek to overthrow his rule. And so he was merciless in killing people just because he thought they might be a threat to his throne and the succession of his sons on the throne. So we've got two plot lines working here. We've got the wise men seeking some kind of special person that was recently born, signaled by the star that has led them to Jerusalem. And the second plot line is the threatened Herod, who wants to make sure that the birth that the wise men are talking about is not someone who's going to replace Herod. Herod wants to kill whoever that child is. So Herod seeks to use the wise men. He asks them the exact date that the star appeared. So he has an idea of when this special person was born. And then he tells the wise men to go to Bethlehem. Because as the religious authorities have told Herod, in the scriptures, it is Bethlehem that is assumed to be the place that the Messiah will be born. Because that's where David was born. And Herod says, when you have found the child, come back and tell me so I can, pay him homage to you. Well, that's not what Herod has in mind. But the wise men go off to Bethlehem. And the star comes to rest above a certain house. They go inside, and there is Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus. And they know that this is the one whose birth was heralded by the star. They kneel down and pay homage to the child and give him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But instead of going back to Jerusalem to tell Herod, they were warned in a dream not to do that. And so they went back to their home country by other routes. Why do we have this story? Matthew, who wrote the gospel that bears his name, wrote it in the 80s of the first century, about 50 years after Easter. He was in a community, a congregation that was almost entirely Jewish. And of course they knew, they'd been expecting, I should say, a Messiah for a long time. Their parents had expected a Messiah, their grandparents, and so on. Hundreds of years the Jewish people were expecting a Messiah to be born sometime. And so Matthew's community was convinced that Jesus was the Messiah. But there was tension in the community, as there often is. Tension between those who believed that Jesus was the Messiah just for the Jews, not for anyone else. And others who believed that Jesus was the Messiah for everyone, not just for the Jews. And this created conflict in the community. Jesus is our Messiah, people would say, and we don't want to share him with anyone else. The others would say, Jesus didn't come just for us, came for everybody, not just for the Jews, but the world. Not just for Israel, but for all of humanity. And so Matthew, in writing his gospel, included this story about the wise men. Because without doubt, they were not Jews. They were Gentiles. religion they may not have, we don't know. But that they had a hunger for some kind of purpose and meaning in life that they would receive from a leader. And ultimately, as we know, because we wouldn't be sitting here otherwise, Gentiles were integrated into the early Jesus movement. And it quickly became a predominantly Gentile movement. And today, most Christians cannot trace their ancestry back to Judaism in any way. Our families may incidentally have had Jews in them, but we weren't Jews by heritage, by culture, and by language. No, we're kind of people who saw a good thing and went for it. Today, 2,000 years later, who are the Gentiles? Who are the people who don't know Jesus, that need to know Jesus? I'm not talking about people of other religions. I'm not talking about Hindus or Buddhists or Muslims or anyone else. I'm primarily talking about people who have some connection. It may be a generation or two back, but some connection with Christianity. But it's not alive for them. I'm talking about my children and my grandchildren, and perhaps your children and your grandchildren. The people that you work with, the people who live near you, the people you shop with, the people who are going through life lacking the kind of meaning and purpose that comes from knowing and accepting Jesus as the Messiah. These are the people who, for very legitimate reasons, have decided they want nothing to do with the church. It may be because of clergy sexual abuse scandals. It may be because of televangelists who have been proven to be dishonest and immoral. It may be because of the people who talk about the prosperity gospel and ignore the needs of the poor. It may be those who, in the name of God, condemn gay, lesbian, transgender people, who say that people who love each other should not get married. There are a lot of good reasons to avoid organized religion. These are the people who, when they are asked to take a survey, what is your religion? And they say none. These are also the people who say that they are spiritual but not religious. These are the Gentiles today. What is the star that will draw them to Jesus? One star that will do that is a church building. I don't know whether you saw it, but each day the Washington Post sends out an email newsletter with a weather forecast. And the one this week, one day this week, had a picture of St. Luke's Church on it. So you saw it? Some of you? Well, I did. It was a picture of the front of this building, seen from 15th Street. The caption underneath said St. Luke's Episcopal Church, Washington, D.C. Each day, the Washington Post puts a different picture there. I don't know why they chose St. Luke's that or they did. Thousands of people probably saw it. Thousands of people go by this building every day. Some are on bicycles, some of them are walking, some of them are on these scooters, Some are driving cars. They notice this building. If they're walking, they might read the plaque about Alexander Crummell. They might see the sign. But truthfully, we're not organized effectively to make that star shine more brightly so that it attracts the people who are spiritual but not religious, the Gentiles of today, as a place where they can get to know Jesus and accept him as the Messiah. We need leadership that will guide the congregation to do these things, to reach out, to find ways to meet the needs of those outside these doors who are leading lives that are missing something. And we know what fills that missing spot. We need to let people know and design programs and activities that will overcome the barriers that exist to coming to a church. Barriers I talked about a few minutes ago. But we need leadership who will step up in this congregation to guide it in new directions for the future. And the Son, the philanthropist Son, knew the truth. That if you give things away, it works for you as well. Being a person for others or a congregation for others is, I think, the path to the future for the church. When we can start being more concerned about the people out there instead of our own needs and how the congregation can meet our own needs, then we will understand better how, in the biblical time, Jesus shone forth like light for all to see. See, being a congregation for others is the path to the future. And a congregation for the future